Hi, Jeanette and Dave. Thank you so much for talking with me today. Um,
Great to be here.
I am one of those kids that grew up watching all of the television specials on Travel Channel and about all of the parks. This is like my bread and butter. What was it like to be asked to participate in something like this?
We're not normally asked to talk about our stories. I was the little girl that wanted to work at Disneyland and then became the high schooler that wanted to be an Imagineer because I wanted to create these things. But I never heard the backstories unless it was deep in a book somewhere about how Disneyland came to be. But for us to be able to talk about the stories that make the stories that we bring to life for our guests, it was fun, right? And it because listen, we're tasked to do impossible things all the time, and what comes with that are crazy, impossible, fun stories, right? And to be able to talk about that was awesome, really awesome.
And Brittany, I'm with you. I was the same thing. I would love to watch those TV specials, and I would rewind and watch it over and over, look at the little details and pause it and watch the behind the attraction has a lot of similar moments of that with a little bit of fun and whimsy added on top of it. I think you're going to notice a difference in the tone, just in how the information is presented, which makes it, for me, which makes it a lot more fun. Because sometimes you're thinking, oh, I know everything there is to know about Space Mountain, blah blah blah. Okay, well, when you see it a little different presented and some different stories that go with it, and some of the why behind it, which is pretty fun, and the way it's presented is just really really cool.
And I think every time you talk to someone new about an attraction, there's always that different viewpoint that you didn't get from anyone previous who had been interviewed on the subject. Jeanette, you are responsible for overseeing everything at Alani and Disneyland. In what ways does Behind the Attraction really get to the heart of what you all do, all of these impossible things?
Well, I'll say for Disneyland, I mean, I have so much respect for Disneyland because it's where it started, right? And Walt Disney Imagineering, its lineage and history is attached to the opening and design of Disneyland. And it is so beloved. It is part of our culture here. And so to touch anything or do anything or to look at how Disneyland's evolved, to see all of the episodes, the connective tissue between Haunted Mansion and even something as recent as Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, transitioning to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout at Disney California Adventure, to understand the connective tissue and the lineage that goes into how our attractions evolve, or how we reference each other, or have respect for where we've come from, or the classic Imagineers that have come before us, right? And there have been many, 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 many over the decades. That's not a story we normally get to tell. And so I think for me to be in this, to oversee Disneyland and to showcase the thought that we put behind our attractions and why we do them in this way is really special, right? And special in a way that isn't normally told.
And Dave, you've worked on something that's ended up in just about every Disney park. For those kids who this is their, this is the thing that they love, these documentaries. What do you hope that they get out of this?
I hope that they get a sense of wonder, that it's, so many of our guests love to go back and repeat our attractions over and over and over, and it's both enjoying the memories but also looking for new things. Watching Behind the Attraction gives you a deeper understanding of some of the things that might be right in front of you that you never saw before, that tells you, oh, that's why that's there. Oh, that's why they did it that way. Oh, that's why. And it sort of lets you be on the inside. You're now, you get to tell Dad, well, the reason it's done that way is because, how did you know that? Well, I watched Behind the Attraction with there's something fun about, being on the inside and knowing why things are the way they are. And I hope that people, after watching Behind the Attraction, understand the complexity a bit more, the challenges a bit more, the fun a bit more, the options, but and they'll enjoy the attraction that much more because of it.
And speaking to the challenges, I know creating these things isn't easy. Are we going to see kind of the roadblocks that are encountered along the way?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And yes, and yes. And that's part of the fun, right? I mentioned Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, a Disney California Adventure transitioning to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. And that was an insane project. It was like, hey, this movie's coming out. Do you think, and it's only a year plus away, you think we could change a beloved attraction and make that a meaningful new attraction that showcases the Guardians? It's like, maybe let's take a look at it and see what we come up with. So yes, we talk about that a lot. And I think that's part of the fun, because we are tasked to do impossible things. And when we are tasked to do impossible things, the impossible really happens and we never get to talk about it. So it's kind of fun to go behind the curtain and show you what the impossible looked like when we were making it happen.
And I remember riding that for the first time. I was one of those people that were like, it's Tower of Terror. How are they going to make this a Marvel ride? And I got off and was just blown away by how much fun it was, how well it captured that humor and fun that the movies are known for. It was out of this world. And I know that there are only 10 episodes in this first season, but is there anything that either of you have worked on that isn't included that you would love to see in a future season?
I had the chance to work on Indiana Jones, and I would love to see an Indiana Jones episode.
Indiana Jones, I was thinking about it the other day. Incredible that it's 20 years old and still feels like it just opened a year or two ago.
The advantage also of seeing Indiana Jones at Disneyland and the Indiana Jones Adventure also at Tokyo Disney Sea.
Oh yeah.
And how different they are, but how similar at the same time. You could easily do an hour on Indiana Jones and all the directions that we went in and how it's changed over time, because it's an attraction that you always want to keep it current. But at the same time, you need to have that nostalgia of remembering what it was like the very first time you rode it.
I would love to see, I remember in my younger years, I'm not that old, but trying to figure out how the doors worked.
There's lots of surprises inside that attraction. And some are small and clever, some are giant and complicated. And the doors are going that second category.
Yeah. Out of all the episodes that you did have a hand in, though, do you have a favorite?
I might be partial to Star Tours, only because I got to work on that one a lot. And again, it's one of those things where you experience it as a child, and then you get the chance to work on it as an Imagineer. And it's that same wonder. You want to make sure that the thing you're making still also instills in that guest who's writing it for the first time, that same sense of wonder and awe and delight and surprise and fun. Our parks are fun. They're supposed to be fun on top of all that. So you want to make sure that they're also fun.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me, both of you. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait for everyone to see Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus.
Great to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.